Welcome to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
Julio, my son Carl, also known as Bloomers Nurture Manager, and I visited the Mid-Atlantic Trade Show. One of the first things we noticed was how busy it was and that it finally has recovered from COVID. We're going to talk about that in our first segment.
Have you ever wondered where new plants come from? It's part keen eye, part science, and part Indiana Jones. We'll explain in our second segment.
We're always on the lookout for the latest and greatest new plants. One that caught our eye was a red-leaved crepe myrtle. We'll tell you all about that and other exciting plants in our third segment.
A familiar name is entering the houseplant market. Proven Winners is the latest hybridizer to throw its hat into the ring. We'll discuss it in our fourth segment.
On this week's Houseplant Rant, we're talking about the popular rubber tree. New colors and variegation had made this old favorite new again.
So stay tuned, and we'll be back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Fertilum's azalea and evergreen food plus systemic insecticide 915-3 contains 5 micronutrients which are designed for azaleas and evergreens to provide the proper nutrients and producing stunning green leaves and essential new growth while protecting the plant from damaging insects for up to 8 weeks. Fertilum's azalea and evergreen food contains 9% nitrogen for green growth, building bigger stems and leaves, 15% phosphorus for root growth and increased flower production, 13% potash to promote vigorous growth so plants are better able to resist disease and cold. The micronutrients are the icing on the cake to enhance further growth, strengthen, and beautify color. Tired of seeing your plants prematurely drop their leaves, the flowers disappear? Fertilum's Azalea Evergreen Food plus Systemic Insecticide 915-13 contains an easy-to-apply insecticide that keeps your azaleas and evergreens looking great all year long. Those hungry insects do not have a chance. Apply in spring before buds sprout and continue throughout the season as indicated on the label growing guide. Fertilum's Azalea and Evergreen Food plus Systemic Insecticide 915-13 with micronutrients is a must for the passionate azalea and evergreen grower to help produce that beautiful abundance of color and fantastic fragrance everyone will love. So next time you visit your favorite garden center, pick up Fertilum's Azalea and Evergreen Food plus Systemic and expect to have the best looking shrubs in the neighborhood. Church's Garden Center and Farms, Seashore Road, Cape May, New Jersey. Collegeville Do It Best, Ridge Pike, Collegeville, Pennsylvania. County Line Nursery, Harleysville Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. So MANTS, M-A-N-T-S. What does that stand for? It is a commercial winter nursery trade show, and it is the Mid-Atlantic Nursery Trade Show. We've been on the road, Julio.
Oh my gosh,
We've been on the road. We keeps on going with the International Tropical Plant Exposition that Carl and I are going.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, the problem with MANTS is we went last year, and it was kind of dead.
It was.
It was dead. It was a little slow, but this year, you know, I mean, from going through COVID and having a virtual show and then having the low attendance last year, we were wondering what its long-term viability was. But this show's been around for a long time, since the 70s.
Wow.
But what do you think? Nursery industry back?
It is back, folks.
Yeah.
I was excited, let me tell you. You know, bumping into people and hearing people talk about, you know, their what they want to do, and you know, just having even the relationships, you know, coming back, and I think that's important.
Lots of positive energy.
Yes,
lots
a lot
of positive energy, and that's
great.
And that's what we love, because we all feed off each other. And that the exhibitors were actual nurseries that we buy from, and that they are wholesale. This is a wholesale only event where 97% of the attendants are either buyers or final decision makers or influence purchasing. So this is
pretty big.
This is what they in the business world call a buying show. It isn't just something to see things. It's something where you're writing orders.
Right.
So
there's an advantage to that, isn't there? To being there, maybe you might get a little extra.
Well, like you said, it's about relationships where you know your growers. But it's funny because you know them from either if you're lucky enough to where you can visit the farm or the nursery.
Yeah.
You see them. It's like, hey, you know, how you doing? You know, like, you know,
yeah,
we call
you're always
Doug
you're
Zirkle.
separated.
It's seeing Doug Zirkle and his family, you know, where we got a chance to talk and to see how things are. Our salespeople with some of the larger nurseries, they're just a voice on the phone.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, that's what you look like.
Yeah,
you know?
You're always busy now. You're in a place where, can hang out a little bit.
Yeah, and get to know them as a person, but also get insights on what their strategies are for the future. You know, and be honest, you know, it's what I'm trying to do. It's like, what's new? What is your next step? Are you going to be growing? You know, you've never grown trees before, but all of a sudden now you're growing trees. Wow, You know, let's get in on the ground floor. How about different plants? You know, who's got what? What's your? You know, I keep laughing because all I can think is that. What's your latest H plant? You know, what's your latest hosta, heuchera, you know, hydrangea.
Hydrangea.
So again, it's a good time to where you gauge where the industry is going, and everybody's concerned about the recession.
Oh yeah,
but the garden center nursery industry, where people are coming to get information to install or take care of their own plants, has never been impacted. It used to be like, what recession? Because what would happen, and Julio and I talked about this at length, where we're wanting to tell you how the installation process, the design process, how to maintain your lawns and your plants yourselves, and where you can save some money is cutting out on some of those services that you're not quite sure you need. Now, the exchange with that is the time that you have to put in to do your own maintenance and to do your own landscape. But basically, all your local independent garden centers are the ones who have the information that you can do it correctly.
Yes.
And that's kind of, I saw that, that it wasn't just our own brilliant idea, but it was repeated over and over with a lot of the different companies, especially some of the companies that weren't nursery companies, that there were some hard goods and a lot of soil companies that were definitely tilting that way to the homeowner, do-it-yourselfer. So.
And I think also too that the vendors are there. They want to feel you out and see what you're thinking also. Because we're dealing with customers. So
That's true.
We're
on the front line.
Yeah, we're in the front line. So they want to hear what we have to say also.
And again, it's a new world, Alice, with the internet companies, and we talk to several up and coming companies that where like Bacillus is known for being BT, right? It's an insecticide where it basically works on caterpillars. But that same strain is in a positive way, not BT, but other types of bacillus are actually being used in replacing fertilizer. Now, these microbes are making plants more disease resistant, and that they're helping improve the soil. So they're being added into the soil where normally we used to put down this granular thing that looks like it's like salt, and you put it on, and and it's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. The time is coming where there won't be nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in fertilizers anymore, but it will be the different types of microbes. And again, heavy bacillus. I mean, we have one company that we're going to be bringing in this year that's all bacillus. It has, and again, its nutrient value is the fact that it transforms your existing soil and improves your existing soil to work better.
You know something? Wow.
There you go.
It's it's like our gut. We have beneficial bacteria and we have bad bacteria also.
That's right. But what you're doing is like with your gut, it's the same type of thing. So you're going to want to be like, so what's in yogurt? What's the
bacillus?
No, bacillus in yogurt.
No, there's.
Come on, Aaron. Come
remember.
On. Dairy.
No. All of the beneficials that help your gut. I mean,
probiotics. Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis used to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And where that it was, again, it's adding to get that bacteria in your stomach that helps digest your food and helps you when you have, let's just call it issues.
Yeah.
Good
That's
stuff.
why I take a pill.
What is your pill?
A probiotic pill.
Probiotics, okay.
Yeah.
So same type of thing.
Yeah.
And doing the same type of thing for your soil and therefore your plants.
Right.
And all plants. House plants, vegetables, it's the full line. So
amazing.
Again, and then we're going to also make sure that we take a sharp look on, again, going to pH, where it's a condition of your soil. It's not treat all your plants the same because pH does matter.
It does.
pH does matter. So, again, the nursery industry is alive and well, we're happy to say. Especially, again, we're in that northeast Delaware Valley. There were national, like Monrovia's there, and Greenleaf was there, and all the national nurseries. And that all had new introductions, a lot of them we're going to talk about a little bit later. We're going to talk about some of the entries into houseplants and where, to be honest, I almost feel like you have no business going into houseplants. Why is Monrovia going into houseplants?
I don't know. You tell me.
As a disgruntled Monrovia customer for all my life, they're in Lowe's now, but they don't sell the whole line in Lowe's. I'm wondering if they're doing it just to, to just say, hey, Lowe's here, look, we have houseplants now. Put them in a Monrovia pot. So don't be surprised if you see, their houseplants. But also they have the facilities where they can grow houseplants at their nurseries, just like it's a regular, nursery plant. And actually, Carl and I are going to be seeing that firsthand because we were on a growers tour out in the growing section of Florida. So, all right.
Awesome.
Off on a tangent.
Yep.
Man, that never happens. Anyway, we'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Organic Potting Soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is available at these local retailers.
Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, Pennsylvania. Ashcombe Farm and Greenhouses, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Tony's Farm and Garden, Windsor, New Jersey.
Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomer's Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Well, folks, have you ever wondered where new plants come from? Me too. You know, it's amazing how it all starts and how it ends up and how it all works.
Lots of different ways.
Yeah.
Lots of different ways. You know, it used to be where it was a gardener would say, hey, now that plant looks a little different, and somehow it would work its way to actual production. It was really hard. It wasn't a intentional thing. Same thing happens at nurseries where, you know, a nurseryman grows 1,000 of this one type of azalea, and he ends up seeing where it's like, that one looks different. Why is it different? And ends up having a different color flower, and it just looks completely different. And that he'll bring it to his provider for seedlings or cuttings and say, you know, hey, what's up with this? And then takes a few years, goes under studies where they'll take those plants and they'll like put them in harsh environments and try to figure out if it's a viable plant to bring to market. And plants come from there.
Really?
And then there's intentional things. Like, can you, now I always put Julio on the spot. Mm-hmm. Can you recite the Ito peony story?
Yeah, Dr. Ito, he crossed what we call a tree peony with a regular garden peony, and he had over 1,000 trials. 10,000. Wow, I was wrong. I mean,
yeah,
and years.
And it's because it's right. It's years because it over and over.
Yeah, to get it how he needed to get this. You know,
and the benefit is that like a regular tree peonies is kind of gangly, but the flowers are different colors. Like regular garden peonies that are usually pink, white, red. That's your only color selection. Where tree peonies could be yellow and they could be all different types of colors. He wanted to keep the compact growing characteristics of a garden peony, but the flower color of a tree peony. Yeah. So continue the story, Julio.
His thinking is, the perennial ones, you have to have staked a little bit because they flop over and all this. But the actual Ito peony is almost like a shrub. It's about 3 foot tall by 3 foot wide, and the amazing thing is that these flowers are larger, by the way, and they also have scent to them, and the leaves are incredible. I mean, even with the flowers, the leaves are just beautiful also. So there's a big difference between one and the other.
And it's all about color.
It is.
Where it's yellow, it's contrasting colors in the same flower, and that they're just incredible. So tell us about Dr. Ito. So Dr. Ito did these 10,000 crosses, right? And he finally got it to take. And then what happened?
And then he died.
And you never saw it bloom.
Never saw it bloom, no.
Never saw it bloom.
Yeah.
And here's this man that brought this beautiful plant, one of my favorites. I like to put one, if I'm doing a landscape design for somebody, I always want to put one in their yard because it is such a surprise and such a pleasure when in springtime it goes into bloom, and it's just amazing.
It's amazing, folks.
But he died. He never saw it. He never saw it.
Yeah.
And it just is a sad story, but it's the dedication of the scientists and the people that are trying to bring us new plants. And that I see it all the time where I'm looking for a new plant like that. But there are some times where there are companies that are thinking about more marketing than they are thinking about actually bringing out a good plant. And I've called out some companies
Did you really?
that they haven't been proven winners when they're just like a great name. It's like super stupendous new lavender, and it's got a great name. It's got to be super stupendous. It's got to be, and that where it just kind of looks like regular hit coat, and it's like, we were at the ball horticulture, which are big outfit, and I'm looking. It's like they had some coleus, they had some begonias, and there just was like they were all the new plants, but they didn't look new. They looked exactly like it's like, gosh, another coleus. Can we take some off the table?
You're right.
I didn't see. I didn't see the distinctive benefit. But again, you have to give these guys a little slack where they go and they just have a, they see it.
They see it,
It's like, wow, look, it's got an edge that's slightly different than, say, the volcano variety coleus. And but, even to me, who sees all of the coleus all of the time, it's like, yeah, that's great. It's like, good job.
Right.
I can't wait. That's going to be no.
They're on a different level.
But where again, there are also those plants that we see that are like, wow. That's a winner. But again, a proven winner. I've been a lot easier on the proven winner. Their genetics have gotten better, and they actually are bringing plants to market that are special.
There you go, Len.
Okay. We'd like you to be a sponsor of Bloomers in the Garden. Right. Did we say that? I said it out at this show. Anyway, but the other fun thing, like we had from proven winners, Tim Wood.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And Tim Wood has a podcast, Plant Hunter. Just go ahead and Google it. You'll probably find it. He does the thing that I think is the coolest ever, where he'll go to like China, and he told us a great story, which I'll relay in a minute, about him. I think he was in Vietnam and looking for new plants, completely different, nothing that's been seen, and trying to get those new plants. Like Tim was the one person he brought to market limelight hydrangeas.
Yep.
So he's got the job, like that Indiana Jones job, where
that's awesome.
when he was in Vietnam and he's in the jungles trying to find these plants, his guides got lost, and they were lost in the jungle for 3 days.
Oh gosh!
And they finally got out. But could you imagine?
No, I can't.
Could you imagine? It's like
one day
you're going to hunt plants, and you're lost in the jungle. I mean, to me, that's cool stuff. That's cool stuff. He's got my dream job. And then again, through seed and cutting and tissue cultures, that's the way that they're brought to market. Cuttings, all of your proven winner varieties are all cuttings.
Julio and I had the pleasure of being at Lucas
Lucas's,
Greenhouses one time where they got in a pallet of cuttings, and that we estimated that there were 300,000 plants in that pallet, because they were all cuttings.
Is that amazing or what?
And the houseplant industry, we're going to talk about in a little bit. Cuttings have become a viable thing to sell online. Carl bought cuttings of the variegated Monstera for $200.
Amazing. I don't know about that.
Yeah, he said they lost the variegation. Yeah, it reverted. But that's what happens.
That hurts.
The plants revert. Things from seed, that there's slight variations from seeds that are not consistent. But tissue culture is the way that they take and get plants to grow. I've seen it, and it's amazing. Like, it was actually ferns in a small lab where they were in Petri dishes, and there were, like, say, 50, 60, 100 plants in a Petri dish that had just, or were minuscule, tiny, like an eighth of an inch.
Microscopic?
They're not quite microscopic, but bigger. that plant was definitely from a cell, and it all comes down from again, we talk about this as a science. This is a science. So after this break, we're going to tell you about the new plants that we thought were worthy of our attention. Boy, don't we sound snobby. But the plants that are going to be new, and the things that we saw that are going to be new, and that to look for your garden center. Now, again, the way that it works is that they come up with the plants. They have to then come up with enough of the cuttings and all of the different seedlings to be able to get them to our growers, and then they have to go from the grower to us. So sometimes the plants that we're going to be talking about, you may not see until 2024. Wow. Just saying. Yep. That's the way it works. But again, if anybody's going to have, your local garden center is going to have them first. So they make or break. We still are the kingmakers.
Yes,
Julio.
we are. Yeah.
We determine what is viable, valuable. We'll be right back in the garden, tell you all about those new plants right after this.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix with EcoPeat is the perfect ready-to-use potting mix for all your succulents. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix is a blend of sphagnum peat moss, perlite, and EcoPeat. EcoPeat is a natural wood fiber from peat bogs. When added to Fertilome peat moss, it produces a superior professional substrate with an exceptional ratio of air porosity and water holding capacity. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix will ensure maximum drainage with ideal water retention. It's simply the best succulent mix on the market. Ask for Fertilome by name at your local garden center. Available at Daniel's Garden Center, Sumneytown Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Gasper's Home and Garden, 316 Tanyard Road, Richboro, PA. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds. We carry a flock of feeders like the Brome Squirrel Proof Feeder, which has a lifetime guarantee. Brome makes fantastic feeders for frustrating squirrels and feeding songbirds. Bloomer's Bird Sanctuary has a vast selection of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. We carry Lyric, Coles, C&S, Pine Tree Farms, and our own line called Bloomer's Blend. Bloomer's Blend Songbird Magnet contains premium black oil sunflower, peanut splits, millet, safflower, and tree nuts. It's sure to attract the most colorful songbirds to your yard. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County, New Jersey. Visit us online at www.bloomers.com. When you come in, ask for Shirley Spurbeck, Bloomer's Wild Bird Specialist. Mention you heard it on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, and we'll give you $10 off a 20-pound bag of Bloomer's Blend Songbird Magnet Mix. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. So, one of our goals at trade shows or anywhere is to find that new plant or trend that'll be the first, that will be the first to jump on it. We're always looking for new trends like houseplants. Boom! You know, when houseplants became hot. Again, another one. Again, knockout roses first came out. We were early adopters, and that where right now, honestly, we're a little sick of them. I do miss the varietal names like Tropicana and Queen Elizabeth, Mr. Lincoln, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But where it's become it must be 5 years ago. I was complaining that I went to a rose garden that I expected to see all these great hybrid teas and floribundas and grandifloras, and it was all shrub roses. You know, they are so good that they have taken out a complete basic plant where it used to be that the roses were grown for the roses, not for the plant. And now they're grown for the plant. Not for the and the roses are small and everything else. Yeah. But I would like to see if we can get on top of the trend to maybe bring back the whole concept of rose shows and the West Jersey Rose Society. If you go online and look up West Jersey Rose Society, they are still having rose shows and they're still doing rose shows, and they still are a great source of information for really hybrid roses. And you'll see what we mean. And again, that's just saying. Yes. We're trying to jump on early trends like knockout roses, but not necessarily leaving behind the tried and true.
Yeah, it's like, the classics, we've kind of lost them.
We have.
You had to bring them back. They're beautiful.
And they are beautiful. And that they require care. They are specialty. I think of it's kind of almost like orchids where, you could buy a flowering plant, but an orchid still is something special. Right. And unfortunately, people are under the wrong idea that orchids are hard to take care of where they really aren't. Yeah.
It's part of gardening, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So some of the plants that we saw that will be coming to a garden center near you, especially ours, at Bloomers, crepe myrtle, and a lot of these you're going to see where foliage is an important thing. Not so much the flower, the crepe myrtle, and the foliage was red. Normally it's green. So this crepe myrtle had a great flower, but the foliage was red. And the funny thing is, I don't even remember what color it was. I hope it wasn't white because white crepe myrtle. Yeah. Well, look how nice. Yeah. But where red foliage, now you're talking, because now you're looking at a plant that really breaks up the landscape, and it can give you a different look and a different color to break up some of the green monotony that you might see. Right.
Contrast now and
Yep. How about the new hydrangeas? Same thing, right?
Yeah, PW hydrangea. Let's Dance is Let's Dance lovable. How about that?
Milking them names, trying to, So the plant is from proven winner. Yep, let me explain. They do this all the time, and you'll find it in gardening and things where I feel like we have to apologize for, bumper crop, our favorite product, Master Nursery bumper crop. But there's also now they did the potting soil where it's Master Nursery bumper crop, Gardener's Gold professional potting soil.
they just bastardize the names, and I just hate it.
Yeah,
I hate
Center
it, and
Street.
it confuses our
Expanded.
customers. And that Here's Proven Winners doing the same thing. Rather than call it a brand new thing, they're going to jump on the Let's Dance series.
Yeah.
So it's Proven Winner, Hydrangea, Let's Dance, Lovable.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Well, people can come in and ask for Lovable, and
Lovable, yeah.
they'll
We
have
have it.
Julio show up.
Yeah.
And he'll show them. But what's so great about Let's Dance Lovable?
It's deep pink flowers, all right, but
Beautiful.
it's also burgundy fall color. Ha ha! So you
Ah.
get two colors.
That's right. And how about the leaves?
The leaves were. It was a small leaf and seemed a little thicker than the standard macrophyll.
Right.
So that's a little different there.
So again, leaf color being that red fall
Yes.
color, and some hydrangeas get red. This one seemed to be a little, just again, more red than others, and it gave it interest in the fall and late fall, early winter months.
yeah.
So again, another
Added feature.
nice addition. Keeping up with that red foliage theme.
Yeah.
Proven, and again, another proven winner. Hats off to you guys. You did have some really nice plants. Proven winner, Camellia, dressed up red tip.
Another one.
Let's see. Camellia, dressed up red tip.
All right, you got that?
I'm trying. It's 10 times fast. It's a tongue twister. Glossy burgundy foliage
Burgundy, huh?
on its new growth. So like a red tip photinia, that comes out, and that where the leaves are a glossy green, when it hardens off, the new growth comes out, and it's like crowned in red leaves.
That's gonna be nice.
But
I
this
like that.
has a pink single flowering blossom in autumn. Zone 7 to 9, so not too bad.
No.
Sometimes, like, we get all excited about plants, like the ones we're going to tell, well, we're going to save that. But again, what happens is that it's not a good zone. But 7 to 9 is pretty good. You know, some of our northern listening areas are going to have to be careful with it. So again, but everybody seems to be doing. We met with Tom from Cam 2. That's camellias. He grows nothing but camellias, but I asked him to grow some Daphne. That's another show. But again, it's going to be a look for those hardiness zones. Try to stick with your zone so that you don't get all excited about a plant only to have it freeze over the winter. What's next, Julio?
A columnar gardenia. Boy, that's totally different.
Right?
Yeah. Like plants and women, they were out of our zone.
Some women, anyway.
Yeah.
Proven
Hey,
winner.
we won't go there.
Again, and just like we were talking about,
Yeah.
columnar gardenia is awesome.
Yeah.
But again, if it's not in our hardiness zone,
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Proven Winner continues. I was excited with the pillar series of the Rosa Sharon, and that because, again, it becomes a great corner plant. You can fit it in. It doesn't get gigantic like some of the other varieties where it's a columnar. Really, again, it's called pillar, and this is red pillar. So the flowers are a deeper red. It gets to be about 10 to 15 foot tall,
Nice
only
size.
2 to 3 foot wide.
Wow.
So again, you think about 2 to 3 foot wide, that's narrow. That's
narrow.
small.
Yeah, it is.
But
Very.
the flowers are outstanding.
Oh,
And this is where in the horticulture industry, a lot of times red is not necessarily red like a poinsettia. It's red. It's just a really, really, really deep pink. Like you think about like red dogwoods are more like a deep pink dogwood. A lot of things in the horticulture industry are definitely like that.
Wow.
Now, the next one, Julio, you're going to talk about was actually, above all, top plant at that show this year. And it's called?
PW Sweet Box Sweet and Low.
Yeah, my favorite.
Yeah. It's one of your favorites. Good for low hedging in shade or sun, which is amazing.
Yep.
Early red tip white flowers. Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Even good in containers, which is another positive thing about that. Intro from Holland, huh?
Bust my buttons.
You like that, huh?
Too. And at the, again, Sweetbox is a great is a great plant because you can treat it as a low hedge, almost like a dwarf boxwood, but it has a different leaf pattern, and it doesn't look like a boxwood. They are distinctly different, but they maintain that same height, and they keep that sheared look.
Oh, that would be nice.
So again, it's sweet box, sweet and low, nice and simple name, and it's perfect, and it can go in the shade. So this is something, if you have want to work different levels in the shade, that you can put that around trees, not next to the tree itself. I wouldn't do that because then you have issues with competing water, but it can go underneath those trees, and it can really do some. And the flower again isn't for early pollinators. It can be a perfect pollinator plant. So even if you have a pollinator garden, making a hedge of these, like a low hedge around the pollinator garden, that'd be sharp. That'd be sharp.
You're talking about a 3x3. You can maintain it.
Not even. No.
You can keep
No. We're talking 2 foot.
2 foot.
max.
Oh wow.
Max.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yes.
great.
So again, it's a great plant and takes to shearing. So you can keep it to whatever size you want.
There you go.
So, and again, there were so many different annual introductions that looked like the same old perennials too.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't see any outstanding new perennial that really
Came out.
It really floated my boat. So
Well,
I don't know, lots of plants to
Lots of plants
to
are
look
nice.
forward to.
Yeah.
And again, you got to respect the fact of how these plants come to market.
yeah.
So just consider that. It's all about the science. It's all about the science, the amount of energy and work it takes to actually get a plant successfully to market should really, really be considered when you look at the price of the plant. It's
nothing.
not just the time it takes to grow it, it's the time it takes to develop it, to get it to perform well at your home.
Yeah, it takes time, folks.
On that note,
Yep.
we'll be back right after these messages.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with the #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Proven Winners has partnered with a grower to launch into houseplants. We've been talking about them for quite a
Yeah,
while
I
now,
think
huh?
they owe us money for
Yeah.
sponsorship. I mean, we're talking a lot about
Yeah, we have been all.
but it is a partnership, and it's not necessarily that they're developing the plants. It looks like they're developing a marketing campaign, but I like what they're doing. I like what they're doing. We noticed that the tags right off, easy to understand, specific care instructions to each plant, not a generic care instruction that's like all houseplants, medium light, water when dry. It's actually each plant has given instructions. And I like the whole gifting idea.
Very nice.
The vials.
The vials, yeah.
If you would have told me 5 years ago that people would be getting rooted cuttings or would be getting cuttings at all on the web or doing it themselves, I would have said, you're crazy. You're crazy. And I mentioned, I guess I think it was at the top of the show about where my son had gotten a cutting of a variegated monstera, which he paid $200 for it. It was outrageous. And again, it was a craze. And people are doing that. And that these guys, the Proven Winner Group, and again, the name of the nursery is called Leaf Joy. And that's who they partnered with. But there's a whole line of water-rooted plants. And you're buying them in like either a vial or what they call a bowl. And it's basically a cork with a hole in it and some water and a rooted cutting shoved into it. And the whole idea is to give it as a gift. And it's plants that can maintain in that condition for a long time. So it's not something that you need to transplant, but you can. And I like the concept of that because it's something where you could keep it at your office. You can keep it, someplace on the counter of your kitchen. And it's just something that I really like because it's
real easy. It
catches on a trend. It's a trend. It captures a trend.
New,
Like that very, very much.
It's a hydroponic, they call it.
So they're rooted plants in soil, Julio. Tell me all about how they're graded.
Yeah, there's 3 grades of plants, okay? The first one is called premium, which are mostly familiar varieties.
Yeah, stuff that you'd know and you'd be able to find at your local independent garden center.
Yeah. The next one would be boutique, which is unique genetics found in limited supply.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. And then the third one would be collector series, which is rare and extremely limited supply. So you're not going to see too many of those.
Right, and it comes with a special tag, right?
Yeah, medallion type tag. Yeah.
So it's a great way to get some of those rare plants and get started. Personally, at Bloomers, that we probably are going to dive into both boutique and the collector series, just because the way that it's presented is something where I know people will be successful.
Yeah, and you won't see them in any box store, by the way.
That I think they're talking about maybe the premium plants may be there, but the boutique and the collector series will not.
That's right.
Good.
Yes,
good.
I like that.
Good, because again, we are the kingmakers.
That's right.
Again, this is a new plant series, and I can't really say that there's a lot of exciting new plants that I can say is like, oh, well, look, they have this new monstera, or they have a new say wandering Jew, or a new, I don't really see a whole lot, or new philodendron. I don't see a lot that's really new and different, but I know that they'll be launched the new and exciting plants in that collector series. So keep an eye out for it when you see the proven winners in the houseplant section of your local garden center. It's going to be something that's going to be different and fun.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back in the garden right after this.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. You know, some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor organic potting soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is available at these local retailers.
Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, Pennsylvania. Ashcombe Farm and Greenhouses, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Tony's Farm and Garden, Windsor, New Jersey. Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with their #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. This week's houseplant rant is an old favorite, but reborn with new coloring, the rubber tree. Rubber tree. If you're looking on your YouTube channel, and if you do go to our YouTube, please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. Again, rubber trees have been around forever. I mean, we're talking 70s when they were like the first foliage revolution came. And now the variegation that's available on, didn't we have any variegation? Julio brought a green one into the studio. We had it.
Yeah,
I have one of mine.
This is the last one.
But no variegation?
No variegation.
Uh-oh. We got to reorder.
Yeah.
Anyway, the variegation, and again, it's a type of ficus. Just like, yes, Ficus benjamina. It is Ficus elastica. No.
Elastica.
Are you Elastica?
Elastica.
Again, rubber tree, where they get rubber from. Easy to take care of. Let it dry out. Water it. Let it dry out. Repeat. Water it.
That's it.
You can give it full bright sun, not necessarily direct sun. It would be okay. But it also can go in lower light situations. You want to have some filtered light, but it doesn't have to be in the brightest window. Easy to take care of. This is like an perfect office plant where, you know, there's some person that actually feels sorry for the plants and always puts their water bottle and dumps it in it. Perfect. Let them do that because it doesn't need to have that kind of water that other plants do.
Temperature-wise, it only needs, in your house is perfect because it's
Your
warm.
Thermostat's already set.
Yeah, it's set. You don't need to worry about that.
Nope. And it even can get down to and lower temperatures too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to get tall. It can get as tall as maybe 5 feet tall. And but it's over time. It's going to grow. It's going to take its time. Easy peasy, super easy plant. The best plant to give as a gift.
Yeah.
Because, again, it needs no care. It's not like somebody's going to feel guilty because it died because they were taking care of them. Again, easy plant. Make sure that you go out to your local garden center and look for it and look for those new varieties And again, it's a rubber tree.
Rubber tree, yeah.
We'll be right back in the garden right after this.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomers Home and Garden Center is dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds. We carry a flock of feeders like the Brome Squirrel-Proof Feeder, which has a lifetime guarantee. Brome makes fantastic feeders for frustrating squirrels and feeding songbirds. Bloomers Bird Sanctuary has a vast selection of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. We carry Lyric, Coles, C&S, Pine Tree Farms, and our own line called Bloomers Blend. Bloomers Blend Songbird Magnet contains premium black oil sunflower, peanut splits, millet, safflower, and tree nuts. It's sure to attract the most colorful songbirds to your yard. Bloomers Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County, New Jersey. Visit us online at www.bloomers.com. When you come in, ask for Shirley Spurbeck, Bloomers Wild Bird Specialist. Mention you heard it on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, and we'll give you $10 off a 20-pound bag of Bloomers Blend Songbird Magnet Mix. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Well, Julio, back in the school year.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Lots
wow.
of new plants.
Yeah.
Exciting
We're
stuff on the
excited,
houseplant aisle.
We're all pumped up.
Yep. If you want to see Julio talks about transplanting houseplants on our YouTube channel, go in, please subscribe, and you'll see Julio, and he'll tell you all about how to transplant your houseplants.
Did you know you can listen to Bloomers in the Garden anytime? Yes, anytime. Search for us on your favorite podcasting platform or go to bloomers.com and hit the radio tab. All right?
That's it. We'll see you next week right here in the garden. See you in the garden.
See you in the garden.